Hello everyone and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Thank you for my previous video for allowing me a slight diversion into the blogosphere. I am back this week with another painting, and this painting has a rather interesting story. So the painting you're going to be seeing me paint in this particular video was the first painting that I ever painted that made it into a gallery show. This particular painting was actually inspired by the theme of the show itself. When I heard the theme, I immediately had this image pop into my head of a fantasy scene in which you had a lone figure standing on a shoreline looking at some distant spectacle. And when I think about spectacle, I always have this fascination with pillars of light. It's one of my favorite things in fantasy. And I also have a fascination with the Aurora Borealis. And I also have a fascination with the TV show Legend of Korra. So in that particular TV show, there is this tree of Aurora Borealis that is originated from a pillar of light. And I decided that for this particular painting, I would use that as sort of the base inspiration for this piece of a lone figure standing on a cold, snowy bank, looking at an island off in the distance and seeing this vast pillar of light coming forth and basically being intrigued by it. Now, when I first had the idea for this painting, I originally was thinking fantasy themes. And when I went to the gallery show opening, I had several people tell me that they were instead thinking about the themes of spirituality. Who am I to say how people interpret my art? I do think it's interesting, the overlap between spirituality and fantasy, especially when you look at how much religion, both fictional and not, plays into both particular aspects. This particular piece I have had some people compare to the Path to Bethlehem, which unfortunately I am not a Christian, so I don't really know much about that particular story. But as I said, if it speaks to you, that's what matters. So honestly, for this one, it wasn't that much to talk about in terms of the piece itself. The inspiration came, like I said, from this idea of dreaming and this idea of fantasy. And what I'd like to let you all do is enjoy the painting process. I'll check in a minute after I am done with the painting and kind of talk a little bit more about its showing. But for now, I will be quiet and allow you to watch a night sky come into bloom. everybody. I figured I would check in with you all as I started painting the figure in this painting. Now, this was a challenge. This particular figure is the first time I have painted a human being into a painting and that painting was completed. Now, I have since finished another painting that was started before this painting that features a human, but this was the first finished figure of a human being. And it was very interesting to try to figure out a way to connect myself to this figure as she is standing on the shore looking at this vast pillar of light off in the distance. In my head, the figure is female. I have had some people interpret the figure as male. It is, to be fair, an agenderous shape, so I suppose you could interpret it however you so desire. However, I did know that when I was painting this piece that there definitely had to be a figure in the piece because I felt it important to have someone to connect to as you looked across this vast ocean. Now, as you can see me here, I'm twiddling with all the snow and all the other, I'd say just the landscape here, which was a little bit new to me to try to figure out how to make this work properly. And you'll also notice that the figure has her hand still in her cloak as she is holding the staff. Now, I decided after several hours of painting and a couple of days between the two sessions it took me to finish this painting that I didn't particularly like that. I thought that removing her arm from the piece, it removed a way to connect us to the painting. So after a couple of days, which you will see in just a moment, I came back to this piece and I spent quite a bit of time working on getting that cloak to fall a bit more naturally, getting the hand out in view so you could see it properly with the staff, and just overall making us feel a little bit more human with the piece. Here you can see me, I'm just coming in on session 2 of the painting to touch up the mountain in the back just to give it a little bit more depth. And then I will be coming forward to the figure where I will, for the first time really, correct something that I've done in a painting that I wanted to change. So I decided to change the color of her cloak to a more greenish color so that it stood out a bit. And then you'll see me here with the dark blue of the ocean as it comes forward and as I basically edit out the cloak and give her a hand. Now, as I go ahead and work on finishing the arm and hand of this piece, I would like to say that this piece did make it into a gallery show as of the publication of this video in 2025. That show will be running until January 15th, 2026 in Centerbrook, Connecticut, which is a tiny little town. However, if you would like to see it, the details of the gallery itself are in the description. And it would be really cool if you all came out to take a look at it and leave a nice comment either here in the video or at the gallery. I'm sure they would love to know that people have been coming to them from my work. If you do see the painting in person, it would be a great honor to know that you came all that way just to take a look at something that I created. And I just wanted to say thank you all for joining me for this particular painting as I wrap up just a little bit here on the Pillar of Light. Like I said, the painting is available to view publicly until January 15th, 2026. So if you're watching this video in the far future, I'm sorry to say that you missed it. But until then, I hope you all have a lovely evening. Thank you also for those who noticed that I skipped Thanksgiving week for the weird schedule adjustment here. And I will be back actually next week with the next video. And until then, I hope you all have a good day, and I hope you all have a lovely day painting, if that's what you do. If not, I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Thank you all, and I'll see you next time.